a exponential force, meaning that the closer you get to the body, the more force is applied.
Means it's fully compressed, so it's at absolute compression, so the hit point is exactly where it started the raycast. Then all we need to do is add an upward force on the box at the appropriate position using the physics engine. We scale this upward force by the compression ratio. So
scale this upward force by the compression ratio. So, a problem that I was having that I think this is going to fix is, with the current version, if I just drop the box, it's very springy. And I can fix that by like increasing drag. That stops that, but it also means that I don't know what that was. But it also means that my car won't slide as much as I want it to. And I'd like to retain that. So if I can do it as proper as I can, then I'm going to. Alright. So let's make a curve. Curvy, curvy curve. And actually probably get rid of all this now. Don't need this. Get rid of our old driving code. Position. Going up by. Oh, this is going forwards. I'm an idiot. Cool. So that should let us modulate how much compression affects that force. So we can go. Oops, did I not make it public? I did. What's going on here? Oh no, it's here. We can make that a curve like that. See if that helps. What? It kinda did help. Let's increase compression force. Still kind of bouncy. Definitely feels a bit more like suspension now though. Have to solve the bounciness in some other way. If I go up like at an angle. Oh yeah, that feels pretty good. Still slides a little bit. It's good. So if I were to decrease the bounciness, actually let's go suspension distance. What's that? So this was 0 drag actually. 1 drag. Why isn't that doing anything? Oh, what? Why do I have 2 vehicle motions? What? Fuck. Not sure what I did there. Cool. I wonder if he talks about decreasing bounciness. Or if you can even
So
see
basically
bounciness.
more force acts on the vehicle as the suspension compresses more. Now when you look at all 4 raycasts doing this work together, you get this great bouncy suspension effect and it keeps the vehicle
His levels out quite fast. Why
elevated
keep
off the
doing
ground.
different?
One side note, for each raycast that hits something, we'll make sure to remember the compression ratio for that suspension, the surface impact point, and also the surface impact normal. And these are results of the raycast. We'll use them later on to help us figure more stuff out. We're off to a kind of cool bouncy start, but we still can't accelerate or brake. So to fix this,
Too bouncy, too bouncy. It's too bouncy of a start. Hmm. Maybe my curve needs to change. I mean, wouldn't that like hold it? Oh, not really. No, it doesn't really help. That's linear. I mean, it's better than linear, that's for sure. Can you not? Okay. Cool. do for now. I'm just gonna add some drag. I assume he's got drag like built into his system. Like built into Unreal, there must be some drag. There we go. See, like 3 drag kind of mimics his behavior pretty well. Okay, that's 4. Let's try 5. 5 is pretty good. I'm just gonna do 5 and then we'll handle drifting later. He tries to stop drifting, but I'm gonna have to try and kind of introduce it. I know I said I'd do it the correct way, but fucking hell, it's being a pain in the ass. Deal with this for now. And then we can worry about bounciness later. It gets on the nerves. It's not too bad.
So whenever the accelerate button is pressed, we apply a big thrust to the vehicle. A naive approach here might be to ensure we're slipping and sliding all over the place. That's kind of fun for a drifting mechanic or driving on ice, but we need to get control over it so we can decide on the amount of slip applied to the vehicle, maybe based on the surface or the road type. To fix this, each frame we can find the local sideways component of the vehicle's velocity and apply a force to the vehicle in the opposite direction, scaled by some factor that feels good to us. This makes the vehicle grip the road better, and we can play with this value to simulate all the different road surfaces we want, from ice to concrete. There's one final tweak we can make to surfaces we want. This makes the vehicle grip the road better, and we can opposite direction, the local sideways surface or the road type. To fix this, each frame we can find the local sideways component of the vehicle's velocity and apply a force to the vehicle in the opposite direction, scaled by some factor that feels good to us. This makes the vehicle grip the road better, and we can play with this value to simulate all the different road surfaces we want, from ice.
Okay. And some traction slip. So the way that he described it was
and apply a force to the vehicle in the opposite direction or driving on ice, but we need to get
to get the sideways component and apply an opposite force. Let's do I've already forgotten what he referred to it as.
Control over it so we can decide on the amount of slip applied to the vehicle now, but we've seen all over. The basics of the vehicle's velocity.
Traction. Apply traction. What we want is RB dot velocity, but we want that in local space. That's in world space currently. Transform dot inverse dot transform direction. Point from local space to world space. direction. You want traction force is equal to move direction dot x, the negative component of that, negative x, although no, because we want it. Because if I just use x, then it'll could like push you into the ground, right? Or into the air. I guess if we apply the force along the ground, it should be alright. It'll be alright for now. So in the same way that we do this average. Here we are. Let's pull this out into a property. as you can see though, we've added some sideways forces. Hey, how bouncy this fucking thing is. See, that's pretty good. Without the bounciness, that's very good. How do I stop the bounciness? I wonder. I mean, surely someone else has had this before too. Well, you know what?
And apply a force to the vehicle in the opposite direction, discovered by some factor that feels good to us. This makes the vehicle grip the road better,
Explain
at
it
60
very well,
centimeters extended. So 0 means it's fully absolute compression using the physics engine. We scale this upward force by the compression ratio. So basically more force acts on the vehicle as the suspension compresses more.
I mean, the way that he's drawn it there is it's just linear.
Now when you look at all 4 raycasts doing this work together, you get this great bouncy suspension effect.
So just try switching back to linear and see what happens. Obviously we'll have to decrease the suspension force. Whoops, too much. Gone into space. Still going up? Oh, we're going down now. Oh, fuck. Alright. Let's stop. Change that to 50. Change that to linear. And let's change our collision to continuous. Dynamic? Continuous? Continuous. It's just one car. It's not going to lag anything. We could like scale it with our velocity towards the surface or something, right? Could that help? Because effectively, if it's falling, this is my mouse, this is the car falling. It's falling. We're touching the ground now. Our raycast is hitting. So if we're hitting, then we want to slow down. And then as soon as we start going up, we want to stop applying that force, right? I mean, it kind of makes sense. Let's just try adding that. Velocity. With our normal, I suppose. Or rather, our negative velocity with normal. And if that's the case, it's 1. Right. Pardon me. Let's see. See what happens. it's not bouncing. That's something. Okay. Well, okay, that's not bad actually. Let's only modify this if it's negative. Yeah. Dot less than or equal to 0. Then we'll apply this. Because it's like flicking back and forth. To figure stuff out, to draw things. Cool. This way. Is that surface? Is that normal? So negative this velocity would be like oh right. You probably want to normalize first of all. Then if we're traveling up now, our vector is going to be that. It when our velocity is 0. Set some leeway. I'm just doing random numbers now. Just poking around, see what works. See when you drive. Alright, this isn't the solution. This is definitely not the solution. Vertical drag when I'm touching, like specifically that drag. GeForce times. Huh? Something like 0.9 times. Sticky drag. So I'll talk you through my thought process here. I'm going to attempt to, when you're touching the ground, this stuff in here as well. I'm going to apply the sticky drag, meaning that when you're touching the ground, it's going to gradually reduce your vertical velocity. Vertical meaning velocity in your player's vertical axis. See, I think that's gonna work, but it's difficult to tell. Velocity in local space. There's nothing like that, is there? I'm just gonna have to do it myself. think this calculation is pretty expensive, so I may change this later, but for now it'll be good for testing at least. No, that's wrong, isn't it? Ooh. Okay. What happened there? Whoa. What's going on here?
What is going on here?
Sticky drag is 0, that means that all physics stuff is all just how it was before. A sticky force shouldn't apply anything. So why is it doing that? There we go. Okay. So velocity is negative 4.78 in the y-axis. Local velocity is more. Why is that more? Is that because I fucking scaled this bloody object? Better not be. I think it might be there. A root object should not be scaled. Yeah. Alright, let's do this. Reset the scale on that. Scaler in here. Get rid of our mesh renderer and you could probably get rid of the box collider too. That'll do, donkey. Let's see if it does the same thing again. We got, yep, -4. -4, cool. Cool. should be good. Cool. Just as I was gonna say just as bouncy as ever, but the fuck is going on here? Man, why does shit just break? Why does shit just break? What the fuck is going on? Yeah, this should be. Should this be inverse transform vector? Oh no, this is from local space to global space. What is there? That's already being used there. It's already applied then. Surely. Blue. Okay. Just gonna get rid of some. Oh shit! Sorry, I should do this on the screen. Just getting rid of cases where I add the position. 'Cause theoretically, I shouldn't have to. Why? Why are you doing that? Is it traction? No, it's not traction. That lines. So confused. Well, if we use that, yeah, no, that shouldn't be like that then, surely. Yeah, we might just be stuck here poking around at things for a while. Stop. There's something in here. Just take out all the movement and just do. Car suspension. The suspension system seems fine. And in fact, I can test my. No, I can't. Never mind. Something in this block. Sticky drag. No. Let's turn off. Let's turn off sticky drag. And traction. Then we'll know if it's just the force. No, okay, so it's my new sticky stuff, I reckon. It's not traction, I think. Subtraction. Inverse transform direction, actually. Directions have no origin. That's what I want. No, that's not what I want. Why? So we're going to on the x-axis and the z-axis, which translates to. Tired. Well, there's your problem. Oh, I'm doing it all on the fucking other screen. Sorry. I want to have like a streaming setup where it like changes what screen is being broadcast based on what screen my mouse is on. I feel like that would be cool. I don't know how that's not a thing already. Doing stuff with my hands right now, so you won't see this, but I'm editing a vector going that way. Here's my car, and it's normal. No, here's normal. Sorry, I'm just getting angry. Fucking hell. I just want to make it stop bouncing. I just want to make it stop bouncing. I wonder if this other tutorial that I had queued up mentions this bouncing issue. Oh, I'm gonna go like your videos, right? Not your videos. I'll go car game.
So we're making a couch co-op game about being valets. We wanted to make sure we had complete control of the
But he might be.
Actually, we can think of a tire direction. Spring is that a spring has a rest distance. It has a length that it likes. A spring attached to the tires that is holding the car up off the ground. And of course, we're talking about a spring here, so we're going to need to calculate a spring force. Now, the first thing to realize about a spring is that a spring has a rest distance. It has a length that it likes to be. And then if you compress the spring, it will push back to go back to the rest distance. Or if you stretch the spring, it will pull back to go back to that rest distance. And so the first number that's involved in this calculation is going to be the offset, which is basically just how far away are we from that rest distance. Now notice that this offset needs to be a signed value. So on one side, it needs to be negative, and on the other side, it needs to be positive. And this number is telling you which way to go and how far to go to get back to the rest distance. And actually, if you want to calculate a spring force, that's really all you need. You need to know the offset, and then you multiply that by some value that says how strong is this spring. So here's a quick example where we set the strength to 10, and if we push the spring and then let go, you can see this green line. Let me scale it down so it's easier to see on the screen. The green line is the force we're calculating, and the force is literally just the current offset times some number, which represents the strength of the spring. So when we're pushed all the way here to an offset of negative 0.4, then our force is negative 4. And if I stretch the spring the other way, we get a force just as strong in the opposite direction. And then you can start playing with values like this value for strength. What if we beef up the thing that this spring seems resisting motion? Now, real shocks on cars and other kinds of springs have what's called a damper. It looks something like this. There's sort of like a plunger of some kind, and there's some fluid. And then this thing doesn't want to move. So when you try to push the spring now, it has to push the plunger through that fluid, which is resisting motion. And so that's literally what damping is referring to, is trying to slow down the motion of the spring. So we can represent this in code if we know one other thing, if we know the current velocity of the spring. So imagine the spring's bouncing back and forth. We can stop it at any point, and we can understand the velocity of the object the spring is attached to, in this case, the tire. And if we know that, we can calculate a damping force. So a damping force is basically trying to stop any motion. It wants to resist motion. So that's why you take velocity into account. And so if I give this thing a little nudge here, you can see that it quickly kills any motion. And this is happening with a force that's in the opposite direction of the velocity. So the velocity is headed to the left, and the force velocity. So then when we want to calculate a better spring, we combine these two elements. So now our force is equal to the offset times the strength.
All right. I understand damping now. Wheels need not only a last hit, but they need a velocity. Which this number's just going to track how far it moved. Which means that we need, last hit, that'll work. Dot velocity equals last hit dot point. Be like the vector 3 dot distance between the last point and this point. So velocity is a float, actually. So we're now collecting velocity, which means that we can include that in our calculation of forces. Force magnitude. I'll keep this compression curve because I may want to play around with how the thing compresses. Compression magnitude, force magnitude. Okay, force magnitude, and then this one is like damp and magnitude, which equals the velocity times our damping force. force equals that minus damping magnitude. Cool. Let's see how this goes. This is without damping. It's 20. Drag is 0, so it should just keep bouncing forever. And then if we add some damping, doesn't appear to be doing anything. Oh no, that's not it. We want the velocity of the wheel, not before we hit it. Let's hit. That makes sense. Which means the velocity is now last pause. Wheel dot transform dot pause. Wheel dot last pause. Equals transform dot position. Cool. That should calculate damping correctly now. Okay, no damping applied currently. Bouncing forever. Damping. More damping. Whoa, okay, we stopped. Oops. May have added too much damping. Let's just try I5. One, two, five, 10. This isn't really helping. I'm sure that would do it. also take into account horizontal motion as well, meaning that damping would increase as the car moves. I don't really want that. So velocity isn't really that, it's like, it's actually hit distance minus wheel dot last hit pulse dot last hit dot distance. It's the absolute value, so regardless of if it's negative or positive, it's absolute. Makes sense to me. Like a bull bucking. Hmm. That's not what I want. Sure, fucking. That's literally the equation that I've got here. The force is equal to offset times strength. Offset being compression magnitude. Force magnitude. Offset times strength. Some stuff's backwards here. They're moving a wheel, they're moving a car.
Which is the part that's trying to push the spring back to its spring, and I let. We have our offset is, so that's the damping force counteracting the regular spring component to keep this thing from oscillating over and over again. And what's great about this is once you've got this formula, it's just 4 numbers: offset times strength minus velocity times damping. 2 of these numbers are numbers you just decide, the strength and the damping. And you get very different behaviors depending on what you set these numbers to. Here's really hard to push that spring because it's really resistant to subtract the velocity force is implemented. And you can see we're able to keep the car up off times strength. Green force, the suspension force.
Oh,
And as you can see, this
that's interesting.
formula is basically implemented directly in the code. We do some setup to work out things like our offset and our velocity, but
I'm just gonna do this and see if it helps. Ah, man. Sometimes my brain don't work. Oh wow, I actually never knew that was a thing. That's kind of cool. That's gonna be useful for me in the future. Okay, we have our velocity. Kind of want to calculate that at the top, actually. Our offset is this number. I mean, that's suspension distance 2, unit distance 2, 0 to 1, yeah, okay. That makes sense. make all these like put all these at the bottom of the car because the wheels don't sit in the fucking middle of the car. I don't know what I was thinking. Some reasonable numbers in this fucking thing. So I'm getting angry now. Push off it. That's not what I thought it was going to be. Okay, almost 0.5. Sure. But we want a value from 0 to 1, don't we? So what we actually want is by 0. Which is why this should be first. 0 divided by 0.5. Let's try this. I don't know if my math is right because I'm bad at math, but we'll see. What's up, guys? Oh, yeah, right. It's tiny distance. Compressed. Just about 1. That's what I wanted. That's good. fiddling with the values. Cool. Hey, that's pretty cool. Not. Hey, something is happening. Finally. Ooh. Damping seems to be increasing amounts. Debug some things and see where our numbers are going. Compression magnitude is 2.3. Can't make that negative. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my damn. Oh my goodness. That is exciting, my guy. Oh my god, that's so fucking good. That genuinely looks like suspension. And it's sliding. Yes, that's what I wanted. I wanted it to have the same floaty feel as that tutorial that I was following. Oh my god. It's a little too fast now though. Oh my god, that feels so good. I'm I'm so happy with that. I'm so glad that I stuck with it. Oh my god. That's so good. And now I can just add like a default amount of drag so that my car stops when I stop driving. Ah, that's so good. Whoa! No! Nice. And you got suspension working. It's a bit strange the way it sort of like levels out like that. Curious as to what's going on there. But it's going straight, works fine. An angle. Looks like it's turning. Why is it turning like that? Is that my slipping force? Traction. Oh, I've tested if I hold shift. No, it's not traction. Okay. Turning entirely. What does that do? It's still doing it. So it's nothing to do with the torque or turning. If I turn off my suspension, I can't move. Okay, it's something to do with the suspension. Is it something to do with damping? That would be a shame. No, it's not to do with damping. Okay. Oh, it's only when I'm... Yeah, okay, it's only when I'm accelerating. So it must be something to do with... something like that. That was fine. Ground forward being completely correct. Ground forward by acceleration and throttle. Center of mass offset. I wonder if that's related. That's why I... Okay, I remember now. Transform dot. Transform direction, I think I used. Hey, that fixed it. Nice. We can go sideways, it'll have friction. And if I go sideways now, it'll shift. It slides. And if I can slide. Stop. Okay, and I can adjust. Let's adjust that friction coefficient. And yes, you do have to say it exactly that way. You have to say coefficient. We actually don't need this curve anymore, so fuck the curve. Hashtag fuck the curve. Drag coefficient test. This is a value I'll eventually drive through on terrains on the ground or something. For now, I can just change the value. Stickiness will be 10. So cool. Drift. Stop drifting. Ooh. Drifting all over the place. And then going over here. And then... Damping might be a bit too high. Let's do another thing that those tutorials often say. Let's go RB dot center of mass. Let's adjust the center of mass. Oh. Interesting. Yeah, no, I don't want that. You want like a push from offset, and then a center of mass. Center of mass is actual center of mass. Push from offset would be where we push from offset. Yeah, so that's our center of mass. That's our location we're going to push from. Which makes me wonder if the push from pause is going to I've already tweaked this. Okay. Let's just drop it by like 1 unit. Interesting. So this, okay. This push from pause has to use that as well. Cool, that'll do. So we can change this at runtime. And we'll play around with some values. I forgot to change damping again. I'll probably be done pretty soon, by the way, for a little. That's our angular drag coming into play. Okay. That it like slows down so like that. I have to add like damping for steering as well. I don't know how I feel about that. Not sure. Everyone does it, but I'm gonna avoid it for now. Don't really like how that feels. Hey Google, how do you spell airborne? Hey Google, how do you spell airborne? Yeah, there we go. That's right. Ah, N-E. Okay. Sure. Oh, my neck. Fuck. Neck is so stiff. Oh. Oh. Oh, God. I can't even like a massage or something. Jesus. Whew, I'm happy with that. I think next time I'm gonna add the car, the actual model. Well, you know what? I'm gonna add the ability to add a model. You know what I mean? Like I'll add some functionality for going, hey, here's a preset, apply it to this car. Right, I think that's going to be more flexible than just building a car. So I'll just have to build another car, and build another car, and build another car. If I make it so I can initialize a car with a certain value, then I think that's going to be more useful. Cool. That's me signing.